Shalom, shalom, shalom. Once again, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, forever and ever. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000. Lord willing, this lesson be edifying, straightforward to the point. I'll figure out a title. I have an idea what I want the title to be, but I'm more than likely going to quote part of one of these scriptures. So, in this lesson surrounded by this video I saw the other day, and I'm gonna just play it fair use, which it says, "Watch the moment a Queens woman is violently attacked in parking spot brawl." Right, and so the people that attacked this woman, I guess they wound up getting arrested, getting brought up on charges, and it started over a parking spot, and they were arrested, but in all reality, this woman was out of order. But, they not going to say that, because this world, protects, the rights of women who are out of order. The laws here in America is all fucked up. It's all backwards. And then another time in this country, in another country, this woman would have got put in her place, taken advantage of, attacked, whatever the case may have been, and that would have just been on her because of her conduct, the way she carried herself. So without further ado,
I'm not going nowhere. Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way. No. Bro, because you trying to let somebody come park you. They're not parking. God ain't not parking. And God will make it work. My car will be here every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. You want to fight every day. Every day you want to come parking. I'm not looking for, I'm not so I'm my bitch, you're mad. Oh! Shut the mad. Oh! You're mad. Oh! You're mad. Oh! You're mad. Oh! Bitch! You're mad. Oh! You're mad. Oh!
I wonder how it resolves. Who's gonna give up?
Look at this guy. My son. If he was a guy, now he's a girl.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I thought it was a girl.
No.
Oh,
The black. But she's mother from him.
You're an immigrant, bitch. You're an immigrant.
Look, this is a boy. Yo! Yo!
No.
Yo!
They're all getting. Do not. Oh shit! Step back.
I got it. Watch.
No offense.
So there you have
but
it,
if you
right? So, right, it started over a parking spot, which whoever the people that was standing by the porch, they was trying to hold the parking spot with, we see this in the city all the time. That was in New York City. I don't live in New York City, but I know how it is. The parking could get crazy, over here where I'm at in Newark, New Jersey. And, from the times that I did go to New York trying to park, I don't fuck with New York because of the traffic. It's too many people. It's like overwhelming. And then it's barely parking spots anywhere. And so that's a tactic that people use, trying to save them a parking spot in the future. They might leave out for work and put a garbage can or one of those emergency cones, one of those orange cones, in the parking spot, hoping that people will respect it and not park there, especially when it's snowing outside, especially when it's like bad weather snowing outside. People would they'd take their time. People would take their time and shovel a spot, shovel enough snow out for them to be able to park, or put salt down to prevent their car from slipping on ice or whatever, or to get out of a space, whatever it may be. And based upon the work that they would put in for that spot, they would put a cone or a garbage can there, hoping that someone will respect it and understand what it means first of all, and then respect it, and not park there. But this woman was not having it. Which in all reality, that's not a legal way. You can't. That's not nothing that will hold up in court. If in all reality, this case go to court, they're gonna be wrong altogether. Because for one, you can't use a garbage can to hold a parking spot. That's not a part of the law. And then you definitely can't be attacking nobody because you feel as though that you have the rights to a parking spot. So, but my point of making this video is that this woman was loud. She didn't want to. She was unreasonable. She was totally out of order, because under no circumstances should a woman get to the point where she's challenging a man, and then when she was trying to antagonize, she was trying to what's the word? What's the word? Damn, I forget the word. She was not interrogating. I forget the word. She was basically she was pushing the man, to get aggravated. She didn't want to hear nothing that he said. She was trying to punk him. She was trying to intimidate him, right? Intimidate him to move the garbage can and let her park there, you know. And she didn't stop there. When it looked like she was gonna get jumped, she still didn't back down. She still didn't stand down. Then a flaming F word, right? Mo, alphabet community man, right? You know, he took it there. He wound up, you know, they wound up arguing. She was loud, so loud. She caused so much conflict that she caused other people to come outside, and she wound up getting jumped. Even after getting jumped, she still didn't stand down. She still was yelling. It still wasn't enough, you know. And so that's what I decided to do a lesson on. It's Proverbs chapter 7 and 11, which this chapter really gets into. It's talking about wisdom, and you know how it's unwise to deal with these other philosophies, these other doctrines, all right, these other belief systems, which are likened unto strange women, all right. Right, Proverbs 7 and 5, it says that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. So it's talking about sticking to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, all right, which will and should keep you away from the strange woman, which is symbolic for the philosophies, the different doctrines and belief systems contrary to the truth, all right, which, you know, the belief in the flat earth doctrine, believing that the microchip, the MOTB, is anything else other than a microchip, sin in all its forms, worshiping Allah, worshiping Jehovah, worshiping Yahweh, Yahshua, right? The different doctrines that come with them, plantation Christianity, anything that's against the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, entertaining and believing in those things is likened unto you laying down and dealing with a strange woman, you know, which, you know, the word stranger goes into a outsider, right? The strangers is the heathen nations, the nations outside of the nation of Israel, who we are commanded to be separate from, because they have their own ways, their own beliefs, their own gods which don't exist, that you can be tempted to get involved in and take you away from your beliefs, your doctrine, your God that you're supposed to worship, causing you to sin, breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments, and worshiping the gods of these other nations. But this also is the truth as far as you know, these women, 2/3 of our women, especially the women of the tribe of Judah, that Judite so-called black woman. Proverbs 7 and 11 says, she is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Right? She's always, you know, the elder, what he said, you know, one thing about the nigga woman, you always hear him before you see him, and you know that is the case a lot of times. You know, you would hear a woman being loud 9 times out of 10. You go to see who it is that's being loud, and 9 times out of 10 is the nigga woman, the so-called black woman. She is loud and stubborn, right? She, you know, unreasonable. You know, she don't want to take no for an answer. You know, all she want, she only want people that's gonna tell her yes around her. You know, if you got anything bad to say, don't say it at all. You know, those type of females. And a lot of you niggas is you know, under that same spirit. You know, feminized, emotional, raised by a woman, all right, and wrapped around the finger of your woman, all right, and she is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. She's always everywhere except for inside of the house. Involved in the affairs of other people, all right. Always got some drama going on. Always gossiping. Know everybody business. Verse 12. It says, now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner, right? And so, you know, the streets is full of women that are out of order of the nation of Israel, all right? All of the tribes, but especially the Judite woman, the Ephraimite woman, the Simeonite woman, all right? The Benjaminite woman, you know, so-called Puerto Ricans, so-called Jamaicans, so-called Dominicans, right? Those like the top tribes as far as like mimicking the ways of the nigger woman. But dropping down to 25. It says, let not thine heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her paths, right? You want to stay clear away from these women. If you're striving to be a man of the Lord, all right, the apostles, bishops, and elders tell you all the time, you know, if you share children with a woman, stay, you know, live separate, if not leave her all together, and the children, you know, for the sake of this truth, all right, because they will only be a distraction, a disturbance, all right. They will ultimately will only be a way, an avenue for Satan to come through to take you out of this truth, all right. So you want to stay out of her way, all right. And if you do deal with her with wisdom, all right, putting this truth first. Keep your own, you know, keep a space of your own, keep a car of your own, keep your own job. You don't want to need her for nothing, you know. And you know, work out your own salvation with trembling and faith. Deal with however you know you see fit. But the best thing is to be without a woman, especially a woman that's out of order. It says, let not thine heart, which is your mind, decline to her ways, right? Don't be weak to the ways of these women, because some of them may look good as how they might be able to run game, you know, tell you that they're gonna do everything that sound good, everything that you want them to do, right? And but those promises are just ways to trap you up. You know, the scripture said, gift destroyeth the heart, right? And so they at the beginning they offer you all these types of gifts, but really they're that demon that's on them ultimately, because they might sincerely, you know, have an interest in you, all right, but really that demon that's on them is trying to play chess, you know, and using them as a pawn to destroy you ultimately. Let not thine heart decline to her ways, go not astray in her paths, for she hath cast down many wounded, many strong men have been slain by her. And these type of situations is how a lot of men have been deleted or thrown in jail, you know, because you know, this woman being out of order, right? You know, not being humble at all, right? She wasn't trying to use smooth words to win, you know, to get her way. She wasn't using no wisdom at all. She was coming off as a man, all right, as a hyena, right? Looking to, you know, force this man, these people, to do what they wanted her to do, because she felt as though that she had a point, that she was right, you know. And from her getting beat up, from her getting jumped, you know, she probably called Ray Ray or Pookie, all right, or Day Day, whoever, right? Called one one of her brothers or one of the niggas that she fucking, all right, to come do some bullshit, beat somebody up, fuck around, hit them the wrong way, and now they got a body, or shoot the block up, or whatever the case may be. And a lot of niggas crash out over females like this, and they'll tell you, don't make me call my nigga, don't make me call my brothers, all right. So, right, it says, for she have cast down many wounded, yeah, many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the way to hell, right? Not talking about a place where you burn forever after you die. That place is a fairy tale. It does not exist. This is talking about the grave, or a condition of suffering on earth. All right, her house is the way to hell. And if you go to this woman's house, her house probably, or women like this, her house probably dirty as hell. Kids, Pampers probably full of piss and shit running all around the house. Their hair not done. Always, beg. As soon as you walk in the house, they begging for money, because they hungry. Kids probably outside running around with cap guns and in the middle of the street. All right. She probably got friends over getting drunk, getting high, probably weed smoke in the air. Ain't nothing in the refrigerator. It's roaches everywhere. You scared to sit down. You definitely don't want to stay the night, because at nighttime, the mices and the roaches just get worse. Her house is the way to hell. Not talking about her little, not necessarily talking about her literal house, just dealing with her period, right? Is the way to destruction. Is the way to being deleted. One condition of hell is going to jail. Like I said, a lot of men go to jail. A lot of men wish that they were dead rather than being in jail. It says going down to the chambers of death. This is Proverbs chapter 9 and 13. It says, a foolish woman is clamorous, which is another word for loud, right? A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. Not saying she don't know anything, right? Because they may, they may be able to give you the rundown on how to not take no for an answer at welfare. How to not get denied, how to get TRA, how to get housing assistance. How to get Section 8. How to sue somebody, how to scheme and scam. The system, right? How to put your baby, how to put 3 different men on child support for one child. They may have, they may know something about what the scripture says. My people are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. So, right, a foolish woman has no knowledge of the scriptures. How she's supposed to conduct herself based upon the ways of the Heavenly Father. All right, how to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, how to raise their children, to be productive members of society. All right, to be men of the Lord, to be women that are orderly, in order, virtuous women. Verse 14 says, for she sitteth at the door of her house on a seat in the high places, to call passengers who go right on their ways. Who is simple, let him turn in hither. Right? Only if you don't know better. Right? If you young and dumb. All right? If you're young and dumb, the likelihood of you being taken by these type of women are great. Right? Who is simple, let him turn in hither. And as for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Right? These women are 9 times out of 10 are whores. They got multiple body counts. you know, the chances of them laying down, you know, having their virginity broken, the chances of them being with the same man that broke their virginity 10, 20 years into their life is slim to none. All right, and they're whores, you know, and they prey on young men, you know, because they not only is they full of energy, all right, but they don't know any better. You know, they're not hip to the ways of whores, all right, and so stolen waters are sweet, right? Basically letting you know, it's they belong to somebody else, right? But you know, they would persuade a young man to lay down with them, you know, because they have a certain level of experience. You know, they could teach him, you know, they could teach him a thing or two, you know, they could do some things that they ain't never had done to them, you know, the thrill of, you know, sneaking around, right, is it's sweet, right, to the wicked. It says, or to those who don't know better. It says, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant, right? You know, having to sneak off, right? It's like when I was younger, right? My first real girl, she was a whore, right? I didn't know better. I was young and dumb, and she used to have me sneaking all the time. She'd call me, hurry up, come to my house. My parents not here, right? And you know, we'd do our things. She'd like, hurry up, you gotta get out, right? And me being young and dumb, I liked it. You know, I wasn't worried about the harm that could come to me from me, you know, sneaking in her parents' house, you know, laying down with her father's daughter and getting caught. You know, she turned me out to, you know, the life of sneaking of and I, you know, as far as I know, she wasn't laying down with nobody, but all the while, right, she was, right. My dumb ass made her my girl, not knowing no better. But anyways, you know, and that it was like she got a thrill out of it, and I got a thrill out of it after a while, you know. Not just sneaking in her house, but, you know, in other family members' houses, right? I go over there, I skip school, go to our house in the morning time before her parents leave out for work. She'll have me get in the closet. And until her parents leave out for work, and then, you know, we'll be fucking all day. We'll be having sex all day, and you know, it was a thrill in that. But, you know, that was in my ignorance, my wickedness, all right, me being young. Verse 18, it says, but he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. Again, hell being the grave, you know, the place where you're buried at, or a condition of the mind of suffering while on earth. All right, so this is the second scripture, you know, that warns you of the ways of a foolish, loud, stubborn woman. All right, and if you are taken by her and her ways, you know, if you're won over by her, just know that a lot of men have been destroyed through being taken by her. This is Sirach and Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 verse 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. All right, straightforward to the point. Sin, Adam ate of the tree of knowledge of good, of the tree of knowledge of good and evil that the Lord, the Most High, commanded Adam and Eve not to eat of. All right. Adam didn't do it on his own. He did it giving into the temptation of his woman. All right. And his woman giving into the temptation and believing a lie of Satan ultimately. That old serpent. The spirit that was on one of the other people that was around at the time. This is Titus chapter 2 verse 3. It says the aged women likewise, right? And so now, even though it says the aged women, it doesn't. This applies for women who should know better. All right, if you 21, 25, 30 years old, you may not have wrinkles. You may not be a senior citizen or elderly, but you're old enough to know better. All right, to the point where you can teach. The way you conduct yourself. You should be able to teach younger women to conduct themselves appropriately in order as well. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, right? Lying, not giving too much wine, not being drunk all the time, teachers of good things. This is how a woman, a virtuous woman, or a woman who aspires to be a virtuous woman should conduct herself. A woman who is in order, teachers of good things, right? You should be able to sew. You should be able to sew, cook, and clean. All right, and teach your children, your daughters, and younger women to do the same things. Verse 4: that they may teach the young women to be sober. All right, being sober as far as knowing how to live according to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, and not according to the philosophies, lies, and confusions and different doctrines of the world. All right, that cause you to live contrary to the way that the Lord expects for us to live. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, meaning know how to keep a secret, not telling everybody's business. All right, not being all out in the open, being involved in drama and gossip, to be discreet, chaste, right, being humble, right, shamefaced, right, chaste, keepers at home. The main place for a woman to be is at home, in the house. That's her domain. All right, that's where she should be the most skillful at. All right, in the kitchen. All right, in the bedroom with her husband. All right, in the household with her children. To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemed. All right, so a woman is supposed to constantly always be behind or around their husband, and if they have any type of conflicts or problems, all right, their husband is supposed to be the one to handle it. If there's any fighting that needs to be done, it's supposed to be, the husband is supposed to take care of it. If there's any arguing or, right, a woman is supposed to know how to be unconfrontational rather than confrontational. And if it gets to that point, a woman should, if a woman should always, again, stand behind in support of her husband, and not be behaving herself disorderly in a way where it's going to cause her husband or her brothers or whatever men in her family to be, put themselves in the way of danger to be thrown in jail or to be deleted. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, forever and ever. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of great millstones. Salutations to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000. Shalom.